and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Hip Hop and Anime Vibes. I am your host, DTown, aka Pusha T Chala, aka Eric Trillmonger, aka Mewtwo Pak Shakur. And today, I am joined by a very special guest, none other than...
Norwick Robinson.
Hey.
I'm sorry I have 4 names like that, man.
It's all good, man. Hey, it's all good, man. Shout outs to Norwick Robinson. He's my special guest for the day. He's developed a very, very cool and special, unique comic book series. And of course, I just wanted to get him on the show. Me and him have been networking and going back and forth for a significantly long time. Maybe, what would you say? It's like 3-4 years on IG?
Yeah, like 3-4 years. Yeah.
So this young brother is definitely very talented. Today we're going to be discussing his creative endeavor, Indigo Society. So we're going to slow walk the audience through this one, okay? Because I want to make sure that they understand how dope you are. So let's just take a step back. We're going to take a look at it from a macro scale, right? Indigo Society on Comixology now. Make sure you guys go cop that 4.9 rating.
Please. Thank you.
But before we jump in, where can they find you on the social medias?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Indigo Society. Mm-hmm. And on Facebook, on Facebook is Indigo Society, all Indigo Society.
Very good. Yeah. That's Indigo with the E, Endigo. So
yeah, switch it up. Had to switch it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your creative journey. Take us through from the beginning. When did you develop an interest in art, comics, and anime and manga?
My earliest recollection would have to be, I want to say like middle school. Yeah, and the thing about it is, I was good at it, but I was just focused on, I was just being a child, chasing females and playing football and stuff like that. So I didn't really have the proper tutor to help me hone in on it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a gift that went underneath the rug. And, in later years, that's when I decided to start out on my journey. But I used to write, short stories back in middle school, and my teacher would say, "Oh yeah, Norwick, this is dope. This is good." And it's like I said before, I was just being a kid, just mind focused on other things, so I didn't really zero in on it, and it blossomed later in life. You know what I mean?
I understand, man, and it's really good to have that positive reinforcement, somebody in your life at some point in time to push you to do something dope. So talk to us about the inception of Indigo Society. When did you say, hey, now it's time to go full swing and really make something dope, really put my all into it?
So that's a good question. So basically what happened was, me and my friends and a few other people, we would sit there and talk about the Indigo Children. And if you guys don't know what the Indigo Children is, you can research it. It's just kids with supernatural traits. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. But my friends, they started working on a social media app.
Okay.
And they brought me along, and it just sparked in my head. You know what I mean? I'm like, how can I contribute to the team? Because we have a brand called Indigo United. Mm-hmm. We have Indigo United as the umbrella, and then underneath it is other creatives doing other things or whatever. So I just said to myself, I want to create a comic book. And they were with it at first. They and don't get me wrong, like I'm not gonna say they doubted me, but at the same time, that is something unusual, especially for me coming out of Camden. You don't hear about people coming out of Camden wanting to, create their own comic book. That's so left field. So they just looked at me and said, all right, go for it. And hey, consistency got me here right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm feeling it, man. Shout outs to Camden. And based off of what you're saying, that's not really too strange of an origin story, right? When you're a creative, when you're first embarking on your journey, your friends tend to be supportive, but there's also a little bit of that doubt because they don't have any of that proof that you can do anything like that. So I completely understand where you're coming from. We've all dealt with it. I've dealt with it in music and other things like that. So let's dive a little bit deeper into what Indigo Society is. So we know what the catalyst was. Tell us a little bit about the story. And I know you're the creator of it. We don't want to give away spoilers, right? But we want to let them know, picking this title up, what can they expect?
So basically, in a nutshell, is all right. I'll put it like this, right? Mm-hmm. So you take Naruto, right, and you take One Piece. Mm-hmm. What makes Kishimoto and Oda, what makes them a genius is they put their own creative twist on a concept that already existed. Mm-hmm. So you have Oda that took the concept of pirates and he created his own universe around it.
Yeah.
You take Naruto, which is about ninjas. He took his own creative twist and put it around ninjas. And that's basically what I did. I saw the concept of Indigo Children, and I'm actually surprised that nobody elaborated on it yet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was just like a golden egg just sitting there on the road. And then I'm like, I researched it and nobody touched on it yet. You know what I mean? So I'm like, picked it up, nurtured it, and created my own universe out of it. And basically what it is you have these kids that have the innate ability to control weapons that a sage created in the past. I'm trying to find like the right words to put it. All right, I'll put it like this, right? It's kind of like they're all like Thor in a way. Mm-hmm. They had like these weapons can only be wielded by these special kids. You know what I mean? They have that honor factor. Like the weapons respect them. Like somebody that doesn't have a pure heart. Mm-hmm. Like they can't control the weapons. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nah. So,
I'm sorry. Continue.
No. I was about to say that's pretty much it. And you have the antagonist. Well, I mean, when you guys go, cop the comic book, you'll see what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But you have the antagonist that they brag and boast about man-made weapons. They don't, they brag and boast about their own creation. So it's basically a world that has people that what's the proper word I'm looking for? It's basically man versus God. That's pretty much. You have. You get where I'm going?
Yeah, your firearms are too short to box with God. I love it, man. I love it. I love the concept, man. That's really unique. One of the things that you said that really is sticking out to me in this interview, and I want to dive a little bit deeper into, you said that you've researched the Indigo Children, no one ever touched on it, and you picked this concept up and you've developed an entire universe around it. And one of the biggest questions that I like to ask is, who do you feel this story would resonate with the most?
I feel as though it would resonate the most with kids and teenagers.
Okay.
Yeah, kids and teenagers. And I say that because, all right, I'll put it like this. Growing up, I grew up in the church. Mm-hmm. I grew up in the church, and I believed in God, but at the same time, some of the beliefs didn't necessarily make sense to me. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole, and I'm not gonna dive too much into Christianity, but I was confused. I was confused in a sense. So this story, like I'm creating this story so kids and teenagers can have they can have like a better grasp on the relationship between man and God. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll put it like this, right? So, and don't get me wrong, this is no disrespect to Christianity or anything, but the reason kids aren't paying attention is because it's boring. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The reason that kid is in the back playing a Game Boy is because it's not drawing them in. I feel as though if you can draw a kid in with something that's based off of imagination, you make it colorful and this and that and the third, maybe they'll come to understand God a little better. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah,
I follow you. It's it's a very unique way to approach the subject, but I understand exactly where you're going. It's it sounds like based off of your own previous experiences, you're looking for a way to help the youth connect the dots in a sense. And I think that this medium would definitely be something, through the use of comic books, story, anime, and manga would be a way to not only make some of those things more digestible, but kind of open them up to different beliefs and things of that nature. So,
and let me just say this. Let me just get this out there.
Yep.
Indigo Society is not a cult. It is nothing like that. This story is solely based off of inspiration. You know what I mean? And is based off the fact that, I want to help people see how special they are.
Yeah.
I mean, like growing up, when I saw Naruto, and when I saw Naruto and I seen how hard he went, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That inspired me to get through college.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, like when I saw him come out the ground and punch Neji. like real talk. Like when I saw him come out the ground and punch Neji, I was like, man, like that's crazy. Like the power to never give up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, I'm just trying to instill that in people too. You are special, and just keep going.
I love it, man. I love the message behind it, man. We're gonna pivot a little bit in here, right? Because we've talked about the story, we talked about the inception, we've talked about your creative journey. There's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of comic books out there. Mm-hmm. But what really we need to dive into is what makes Indigo Society unique and separates it from other comics that are out there on the market.
Oh man, great question. I feel as though the name alone is what draws people in, and it's like I said in the beginning. The Indigo Children is a concept that hasn't been tapped into. Is a power that hasn't been tapped into. And another thing is with the Indigo Society, don't get me wrong, this girl behind me, mm-hmm. she is an Indigo child, but at the same time, it's not about her too. It's about other individuals that have the indigo traits, and they're trying to navigate and maneuver through life and trying to figure out how they got this power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel as though when people see that title, Indigo Society, that's what, you know, draws them in. And I feel as though that's why it's unique. It's just a power that hasn't been tapped into yet. You know what I mean?
Perfect. I love it, man. Yeah, I think it's definitely a market for it. Taking a look at the story, it's definitely unique. I would urge everybody to check it out and pick it up and read it if you haven't already. But let us know if you have read it. Let us know in the comments in this episode, not only if you've read it, but what you think, or even if you intend to read it or if you intend to pick it up. We're going to segue here, but very quickly, once more, can you let them know where they can pick up Indigo Society?
Yeah, you can, you know, as far as like the whole COVID situation, you know, a few of the stores that hold Indigo Society, they're kind of like, you know, well, I mean, they shut down and I don't know when they're opening up. But as far as like a digital copy, you can go to Comixology. Yeah, you can go to Comixology or Peep Game Comics and pick it up. And I'm, you know, I guess we'll put it in the caption. Yeah. You know, for people so they know how to spell it and everything.
Yeah. So. Yeah, let's definitely do that, man. We'll link will be in the description or the bio or the caption or we'll put it somewhere where they can get to it. So
we'll put it somewhere.
All right. So we're gonna pivot into our final segment of the day, which will be our top 5 Dead or Alive segment. This is a segment where the listener gets to learn about you as a creative. Sometimes when you go into barbershops, you might hear a young guy say something like, man, Lil Pump is the best lyricist of all time. Tupac was whack. And then you look at him like, yo, who's in your top 5? And that kind of lets you know what you need to know about that young man per se. Not saying that you said that, of course, but still just giving the example.
It's just an example.
Yeah. So today we'll be talking about your top 5, and I would like for you to share with the listeners what the topic is for today.
My top 5, and it could be top 5 anything.
Top 5 anything, and I promise you, man, this is a non-confrontational podcast. I'm not gonna challenge you or shout you down and make you feel bad about whatever it is that we try to discuss or whatever is in your top 5.
Okay, so you know, since the title of the podcast is Hip Hop and Anime Vibes, it's only right that I give my top 5 animes and my top 5 hip hop artists.
Yes. All right. So let's get into it. We'll start with your number 5. So who comes?
Number 5. We're going to start on anime or hip hop.
Let's go ahead and get hip hop out the way, man.
Out the way. Okay. All right. Number 5. Number 5. All right. So before I get into my number 5, right? I just want to give an honorable mention.
Okay.
Honorable mention to Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne he's an honorable mention.
Yes.
Okay. Now, number 5. Now, and look, man, like, I know people gonna look at me crazy. But at number 5, I have Jay-Z.
Okay. Why Jay-Z at number 5?
It's because I didn't start listening to Jay-Z until, like, I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain it. I was just never a Jay-Z listener. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, like the only full album that I listened to fully by Jay-Z is American Gangster.
Okay, that's a good album. That's a solid album.
Yeah, and that's my favorite album from him.
Okay.
But you know, as far as like listening to like full albums from Jay-Z, I never really did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why he's number 5.
Okay. Okay, I respect your reasoning behind it, man. Number 5. Who do we have at number 4?
Now at number 4 we have. Yeah, I know people gonna kill me for this, but J Electronica.
Okay. So you got Hove at number 5, J Elec at number 4. What solidified the number 4 for J Elec?
I've never heard anything like Exhibit C in my life. I've never heard anything like that. That, like, I can listen to that song for the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
That is God level rhyming.
Yeah.
That's God level rhyming, and on top of that, with the Just Blaze, and don't get me wrong, his content, like I like all of like the metaphysical and spiritual, you know, aspects of what he's rhyming about.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think when he's rhyming, he just, he's just telling it how it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he's number 4 for me.
I agree with you. Personally, I think Exhibit C is one of the best hip hop songs ever written, like of all time. So I respect your number 4 most definitely. So who would be your number 3?
Number 3 would have to be.
Kendrick Lamar. All right. So, okay.
Yeah.
So what locked Kendrick in for your number 3?
I just remember Section 80.
Yes.
I remember Section 80 coming out, and I was just blown away. And here's the thing, like, putting them in order, like putting my top 5 in order is just so hard. It's like a feeling that's coming to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm going based off of feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going based off of logic. You know what I mean? Because if we're speaking logically, Hope should be number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just the way I feel about the artist.
Yeah.
So Kendrick is number 3 because Section 80.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite song of all time is How Much a Dollar Costs.
All right.
Yeah.
I respect it, man. And one of the things that you said that I'm respecting about this conversation is you're going based off of the feeling that you got when you heard these artists or when you came across these artists. And I feel like that's something that not only shapes us like in our day-to-day lives, like, because there's something about that resonates with us. Like you said, you could listen to Exhibit C 10 years from now and still have the same feeling from the first day you met it. But I also feel like creatively that has an impact on us as well, like the type of material and content that we put out. So I'm respecting it. So
thank you.
No problem. Getting back to the conversation, the littlest of Waynes is an honorable mention. Jay-Z, number 5. J Elec, number 4. Number 3, Kendrick Lamar. Who would be your number 2?
My number 2 would have to be Escobar himself.
Okay.
Nas.
Okay.
Nas is number 2, and we're going back to the whole feeling. Thingy, and granted, you have songs like "Made You Look," "I Know I Can," songs like that I really liked in the beginning when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that solidified his spot as number 2 for me is he said this one line. He said, it's rare I listen to dudes that never been in my position. A caterpillar can't relate to what an eagle envisions. Like that line, like when I heard him say that, I was like, yo, this man is crazy, man. That was the line, like, you know what I mean? Like if I could right now, I'll get that tatted on me. That's how powerful that line is to me.
No, that's a bar, man. That's a bar. And the reason also I respect Nas highly as an MC would be because when Illmatic dropped, you can pinpoint moments in hip hop where a project that comes out is so big that it kind of changes the landscape of a genre and it changes how other MCs create. When Illmatic dropped, like for the next like 3 years, like that whole New York pocket, not everybody, but a majority of the artists came out sounding like Nas, like delivery like Nas after that. So,
and to elaborate on that, you know, even more, people even started adapting to that whole trend of, you know, putting a baby picture on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On their album.
Yeah.
I mean, so Nas started that, right? With Illmatic, yeah.
I don't know if it was him or Big that started it, but I think they're both close enough in proximity to where you can give credit to either one of them. But again, you know, that just speaks to the impact. You know what I mean? Like, I don't recall even before that too many other artists, like you said, who were using baby pictures or child pictures for album covers. So that's a very, very dope observation. I respect Nas at number 2. So again, we have The Littlest of Waynes as an honorable mention. Jehovah number 5, J-Elect number 4, Kendrick number 3, Nas number 2. Who would be your number 1?
My number 1 would have to be Lloyd Banks.
Oh, let's talk about it, man. Why Lloyd Banks at number 1?
Lloyd Banks, and this, you know, goes into my premise as far as like feeling. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go off of, like, people might look at me crazy, but Lloyd Banks is, like, when I first started, you know, listening to music, I just remember getting that Who Kid mixtape. And it was punchline after punchline after punchline after punchline. And his punchlines were so extravagant. I'm like, yo, he's really the best. And like, he's number 1, like, to me. You know what I mean? So, Lloyd Banks, you know, that G-Unit era, you know, I'm not gonna say that punchline. It's too vulgar.
Dumb it, lit.
But
I respect it though. I respect it. If you're not comfortable saying it, it's cool. I think he said something 10 butters nicer than grandmothers, and I was like, yo, this nigga spitting. Like, I was
spitting, man. He's like, you know, oh man, I'm trying to think of like one punchline that'll. He said TV the same size as Kevin Garnett. I'm like, I remember it, man. Like he that was just it for me. Like punchlines, man. Like he was the PLK.
Yeah.
I remember copping a mixtape with him and Fabulous. Him and Fabulous back in the day, and it was just song like it was like the battle of the PLKs, because you know Fabulous is a punchline rapper type.
Yep.
He's a punchline rapper too. So I just remember having that mixtape, and I remember playing it over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, you know, I'm so fly. I got money, and that's good enough to buy the things I buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, Lloyd Banks is number 1 to me, man.
I respect your number 1. Lloyd Banks is a highly respected lyricist, and while people don't necessarily understand, like, you don't have to be like a commercial success in order to be like successful in hip hop. And I mean, the conversation is kind of taking me back because I miss those mixtapes, and with how music and the laws around music have evolved, we don't see that anymore. Like, it essentially, like, when those laws came out, like banning like using other people's instrumentals, like the cease and desist and stuff like that, it damn near wiped out a whole era of hip hop. But the cool thing that somebody got me hip to, and I promise this isn't an ad, but my brother told me that Tidal has a lot of those mixtapes on it. So,
oh really?
Yeah. So, I might have to fire up a Tidal subscription and just go
back and listen.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Because it's like I don't think you can get like the drought or the dedication on Spotify. I don't think you can. But
no, I think it's on YouTube, I believe.
Yeah, but like, fam, I want to stream it. You know what I mean? So. I respect your top 5 hip hop artists, man. Very respectable, very respectable. So let's pivot. So now we've got top 5 anime. Or is it anime of all time? So let's start with your number 5. What's coming in that number 5 spot?
Number 5. Number 5. Number 5, I would have to put. And yeah, this is gonna be hard.
Okay.
At number 5, I would have to put Death Note.
Ah, one of my favorites. Why is Death Note number 5?
Because the writing is, and here we go again. Like, I'm going off a feeling. I'm going off a feeling. The writing on there is just, from beginning to end, is just immaculate. You know what I mean? Granted, I didn't, spoiler alert, I didn't like the way L died, but yeah, the writing is just immaculate to me, and that's one anime I could just watch over and over again. So yeah, man. Did you see the movies?
That is a loaded question, my friend. I see the Japanese live action movies. I think they had 2.
Okay.
And then I think I seen L Change the World, which is the prequel to Death Note, which is a live action movie. However, I refuse to hate watch Light Turner and Lakeith Stanfield as L. But that's just me.
Oh man, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, all right. Despite my bias for Lakeith Stanfield, I don't think this is the appropriate platform for me to tear him down.
Yeah.
So Death Note number 5, I respect it. What would be your number 4?
My number 4 would have to be and see, I know it's. No, I'm not gonna do that.
I'm telling you, it's a safe space, brother. If you want to put it out there, I promise I'm not gonna challenge you. I'm not gonna make you feel bad for it.
All right, number 4. Number 4 would have to be Prince of Tennis.
Okay, sports anime. I like it. Prince of Tennis has an intense feel to it. Why?
Yes.
Why your number 4?
Because the main character was 12 years old and he was sunning 16-year-olds. He was sunning 16-year-olds, and he was cocky, but he could back it up. You know what I mean? And I love that about him. Like, he was really going toe to toe with kids that were older than him. And the thing about it is, he was nice, man. He was so nice. And granted, it's an anime, but at the same time, like, it just drew me in. It drew me in because when it came to like him handling a tennis racket, he was quiet. He was quiet, and that's what I love about him. He was quiet, and he only acted when people provoked him.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there in the corner, and then, like a 15-year-old kid is like, "Oh yeah, you want to come get washed up?" in the back of his head, like, you about to wash who? You know what I mean? All right. You know what I mean? Like, you said you about to wash me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see if you really about it.
Yeah, man.
And then they're on the court looking like, oh shit! Like,
pow,
this
ace.
It's like, this young boy really nice, man.
Yeah, man. Served him, cats. He's tiny but mighty, man. I like that series.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Death Note number 5, Prince of Tennis number 4. What would be your number 3?
Number 3 would be Naruto.
Ah, okay. I like that. I like Naruto.
Number 3.
Why?
And you said why?
Yeah.
Just to see where he came from. You know what I mean? To have the whole village, against you, and to persevere through all of that. You know what I mean? That's I mean, the one scene that got me was when he was fighting Gaara. Mm-hmm. He was fighting Gaara, and they both shed blood, and then they were both on the ground, and Naruto was sitting there crying because it wasn't about fighting anymore.
Yeah.
Like, he understood what he was going through. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He really understood what he was going through, and he was like, yo, man, like, listen, I know, you're from another village and I'm from this village, but truth be told, man, we're the same, bro.
Yeah.
And you can change your life around just like I did.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that I love about Naruto. Like, they do a really good job with developing the characters, not only like in the series, like in their daily lives, like some of them, not all of them, of course, but how they develop characters through battles and through fights is truly like a masterclass on how to make like a really dope shonen series. I'm gonna pivot a little bit in this conversation, though. I'm gonna ask you a question about Naruto. I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
Who is the worst Hokage?
Man. The worst Hokage.
Yeah.
Yo, like, I'm sorry, but the worst Hokage is Tsunade.
What? All right.
Are we talking about? Oh, all right. So, are we talking about strength, or are we talking about? Are we talking about like a whole collective, like strength, political matters?
The whole kit and caboodle, like how, and again, I don't want to get into presidency or anything like that, but like.
Okay, all right. So, I'll change my answer now that you established that.
Okay.
The worst Hokage is Tobirama.
Okay. Woo. All right. Why Tobirama?
The reason I say Tobirama is because, first of all, you created all these forbidden jutsu.
Fact.
You created all these forbidden jutsu, and on top of that, I didn't like the way he handled the Uchiha.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the way you just pushed them to the outskirts of the village.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? And the only reason you gave them power is because you wanted to keep an eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, am I wrong? Isn't that why he did it?
Yeah, that more or less. He just, I also feel like it was just a deep-rooted hate and bias based off of like previous generations of beefing with the Uchiha that he just, as a leader, couldn't set that aside and try to figure out a way to unify the clan. I agree with you. I feel like he's one of the worst Hokages because all he did, like you said, was make forbidden jutsus, try to figure out how to like fuck people up in the worst ways, and divided the village, which ultimately led to civil unrest among the Hidden Leaf. It was nuts, man. It was nuts.
Right.
That's a good answer.
Nice.
Okay, so just to backtrack a little bit in the conversation, Number 5, Death Note. Number 4, Prince of Tennis. Number 3, Naruto. What would be number 2?
Number 2 is Samurai Champloo.
Talk about it, Chief. Why number 2, Samurai Champloo?
Because that's the first anime I ever watched that incorporated the whole hip hop theme. You know what I mean? They incorporated the whole hip hop theme, and just the action. The action is crazy. You know what I mean? The whole dynamic between Jin, Mugen, and what's her name? Fu.
Yep.
Yeah. Fu. Yeah. The whole dynamic between the three of them is just it was just put together. It was put together well, and I like the hip hop instrumental and the intro.
Yeah. Oh man! Shout outs to Nujabes. Shout outs to Shing. Shout outs to Force of Nature. Shout outs to Fat John. Shout outs to Suchi. All of those guys worked on the soundtrack, and it's definitely amazing. Nujabes and Jay Dilla, like the grandfathers of what would be considered modern lo-fi hip hop.
Right.
Just a great series, like you said. With me, when I was started doing hip hop and stuff like that, I would sit in my house on Saturday nights, and Toonami would be on, and I would be making beats with the anime on mute on the TV in the background. So when this came along, I felt the same way you did. It has a special place in my heart. The one thing that I will say is Fu's finesse game was so strong.
Her finesse game was strong. It was strong, man.
This is how strong her finesse game was, man. Like, and spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Samurai Champloo, it's been like 15 years. You should have caught up by now. But the whole series is predicated on her lying to Mugen and Jin so she could get them to follow her to find her father. That coin toss was a dud.
Coin toss.
Yeah.
Yep, it was a dud. Yeah, and one thing I was about to say is like one of the best scenes to me is when Mugen was on the verge of death. And I remember when he was aligned with his ancestors.
Yeah.
Spiritual realm. That scene was so powerful.
Yeah, it wasn't his time yet, man.
It wasn't his time. Wasn't his time.
Yeah, man. He was just, man, there's just so many different polarizing characters, so many great stories in that series. I love it, man. That's a solid ass number 2. That's a solid number 2. So without further delay, let's let the people know what the number 1 is. What you got?
My number 1 anime is Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. Wow, not a shonen. Okay, I love it, man. Talk to him. Why is Spirited Away number 1?
Spirited Away is number 1 because, first of all, the animation is amazing. It's like the whole concept of it is something I gravitated toward, because that's like, as far as like my imagination is concerned, I would have dreams about that happening to me. How she just like magically fell into a whole nother world. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that latches on to me, and her journey to get back to the real world is that, that holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, Narnia. It's kind of like Narnia. You know how like they fell into the closet and then they ended up in a whole nother world, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even what's the name of that show? Code Lyoko.
Oh,
you remember Code Lyoko?
Yeah, with them big ass heads. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. They would go into like a whole nother world, and you know what I mean? It's like that concept. Like I love that concept of going to a whole nother world and coming back. And one thing I found out recently about, the creation of Spirited Away is everything was freestyle as they went along.
Really?
Like Yeah, it wasn't written out. It wasn't written out and then created. They freestyled it. I mean, I believe that's what they did. Like, I remember hearing that somewhere.
No, that's
I remember hearing that somewhere, that they freestyled the whole story.
Yo.
That's how it came about. I mean, you guys can look it up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, that's what I remember.
Nah, I'm cool with I don't know the director's name. I think it's Miyamoto. But I'm cool with Miyamoto, like, just in my head imagining him going into the booth, like putting the headphones on, like, yo, turn my snare up. Yo, peep game. There was a girl, right? Like, and they're just like, yo, this nigga spitting, go off. Animate that.
Go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They give you niggas bars. I love it, man. This has been a solid segment, man. So just to recap, make sure we're level set on the same page, same book, same chapter. Top 5 anime: Death Note, Prince of Tennis, Naruto, Samurai Champloo #2, and Spirited Away #1. Top 5 hip hop. Honorable mention to The Littlest of Waynes. 5 Jay-Z, 4 Jay Electronica, 3 Kendrick Lamar, 2.
Yep.
Who was #2? I forgot, man. Nas, 2 Nas, and 1 was Lloyd Banks. There we go. All right. Yeah, man. Solid lists, man. Solid lists. Well,
Thank you, man.
Hey, man. Wick, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no doubt. So before we wrap up here, do you have any final words for anyone that's listening to or watching this podcast?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys, to all the fans that, whether it be a book, a shirt, a print, thank you guys for just supporting Indigo Society. We started this journey, say, like 4 to 5 years ago, and it got us the Glyph Award. It got us in a few select stores. So we're just trying to keep it up and keep going. So thank you guys. Issue 2 should be out, God willing, sometime next year, the first quarter of next year. So yeah, just stay tuned.
Yeah, man. Most definitely. Stay tuned. The first issue ain't no hoe. I believe it's 46 pages long. Really good read. If you guys haven't picked it up, you can pick it up at Comixology right now. I believe it's $2.99. Go put some dope manga, some dope comics in your life. Go support Indigo Society, support Norwick. It's a really, really unique story, special. It stands out. Make sure you are doing something positive with your life. And we talked about where to find you on social media as well, correct?
Yes. Indigo Society, ENDIGO Society on Facebook, Instagram. Oh, and on Twitter, I believe I'm Indigo Child. Yeah, I'm Indigo Child on Twitter. All one word.
Very good. And as always, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, sharing the clips, sharing the comments. If you share something from Indigo Society, make sure you tag my guy, give him credit, get everybody else hip, and let us know in the comments, what do you think about his top 5 hip hop? What do you think about his top 5 anime? And if you've read Indigo Society, or if you plan to read Indigo Society. With that being said, we are going to sign off. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Hip Hop and Anime Vibes. It's your boy DTown, aka Hip Hop and Anime Vibes, aka Goody Mob Psycho 100, aka Living My Life Like It's Golden Frieza, aka Mr. If I Ruled the World, aka Sailor Goon. And in the name of the Goon, I'll see you next time. Peace.